Yes, ma'am. This person has some positive blows on the internet. Yes, ma'am. So,
Yeah. Get built-in suspenders and they'll know if this is a mouthwash issue or something.
She's not here though.
And we'll talk to them too, Judge, get to the bottom of it. Say, again, you can't do anything, no mouthwash, nothing. Thank you, Judge.
okay, the outbreak is equipped. We have one sentence.
I have a reset, Judge, that I needed to.
Please approach about a TRES, getting a TRES ordered for a case.
And Jeff doesn't know about it.
Okay, what's your client charge?
It's 2 robberies. They're both second degree. It's Sergio Nimitz, his 2. And it's no, it's they're bank robberies, but they're not armed. They're both banks inside. Well, that's okay. 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 Thanks.
He needs to approach he's approaching on a bond once it reduced. Let's see, DeAndre is real short. It was set at 30,000 initially, and then on November 15th, it was raised to 50,000. I think I wasn't here, or I was here, but I wasn't here. I think the reason is because of it looked as if he had an open out of county aggravated assault.
No, it was an old case he was referred on, and there was some kind of mix-up on the record. And I think it's really set up there. Yes.
Great, and I'll rerun the criminal history.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We're ready to resume the hearing. Thank you.
Defenses, Your Honor.
Thank you. We need everyone to have a seat. Thank you so much. Thank you. On the record, Mr. O'Donnell, do you wish to call any other witnesses?
I do, Your Honor, Mr. Adrian West.
Thank
And
you.
I think, yeah, so,
Thank you, sir. Judge, this witness is not visible. Thank you. Come on up, please. Would you stop and raise your right hand to take the oath? In this cause of action, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You may have a seat there.
would you please state your name?
Adrian West.
And
How old are you, sir?
You can adjust that mic so it's more comfortable for you. Thank you.
How old are you, sir?
27.
Where were you born?
Houston, Texas.
How long have you lived in Houston?
All my life.
What's your education background?
High school graduate.
What high school?
Girls and Boys Preparatory Academy.
I didn't hear you.
Girls and Boys Preparatory Academy.
Okay. Are you employed?
Yes, sir.
How are you employed?
I work at Randall's Warehouse.
How long have you been doing that kind of work, and what do you do there?
I've been there for about a month, and I do order selecting.
You know the person seated next to me, Chimene Onyeri?
Yes, sir.
And how is it that you know him?
Well, we've been friends since childhood.
From the same neighborhood, or you How are you friends?
Yes, sir. From the same neighborhood.
Are you all related?
No, sir.
Do you know a person named Jadeon West?
Yes, sir.
Who's that?
That's my uncle.
Do you know a woman named Farrah White?
Yes, sir.
Who is Farrah White?
My cousin.
Do you know that Farrah White has been reported as an individual who has provided information against Chimene, claiming he committed an assault on a judge in Austin and a murder here in Houston?
I'm going to object to relevant, and in addition, it's hearsay, Your Honor.
Well, sustained is to hearsay.
Judge, I would argue that, first of all, what I'm getting into is, I'm asking what he knows, and what I'm going to get into is statements against persons' penal interest, as well as, Your Honor, I would argue that under Texas Rules of Evidence 101E3C, the rules of evidence don't apply in writ hearings, and that hearsay is admissible. The state's already made proffers of evidence about evidence, and the rules don't apply. So the hearsay objection is not sustainable for that.
Against whose penal interest?
Yes, Your Honor.
Against whose penal
It would
interest?
be against the person making the statement's penal interest.
And who's that?
Farrah White.
Sustained. Objection sustained.
Did you have a conversation with Miss Farrah White?
Yes, sir.
And without telling us specifically what was said by Miss White, did it involve her statements regarding Chimene Onyeri?
I'm going to object, Your Honor. He's backdooring hearsay right now.
Sustained.
Based upon your conversation with her, did you have a present sense impression of what she was talking about?
Object, Your Honor. Again, hearsay.
Sustained.
Your Honor, I'd ask that we be allowed, for purposes of the record, proffer the answers for the record and for purposes of appeal.
I think he's entitled to do that. So you may do that at this time.
Tell us about Ms. Farrah White and her statements to you regarding Mr. Chimene Onyeri.
I received a call from him.
Can you speak up? There's a little noise behind that.
I received a call from him one morning on my sleep, and she was telling me about how she was plotting to send Chimene to jail.
She was plotting to send Chimene to jail.
Yes, sir.
Did she tell you why she was doing that?
No, sir.
Did she tell you anyone else that was involved in the plot?
Yes, sir.
Who was that?
My uncle.
All right. Did she tell you why the uncle was wanting to send Chimene to jail?
I guess it was over some money issues. Like,
Did she relate to you anything regarding her feelings about being caught up in all this?
yes, sir.
What did she say?
She was angry with him. I guess they were dating.
Angry with who?
Chimene.
And Chimene?
Yes, sir.
They used to have a dating relationship,
Yes, sir.
and she was angry about him not dating her anymore?
Yes, the breakup.
What influence did she talk to you about, the influence her uncle had on her?
Yes, sir.
What did she say about that?
She told me that they wanted to send him to jail.
Well, when I say influence, was it his idea, her
Yes,
idea?
it was his idea to plot and she to send him to jail. She had my cousin to do it.
What was your impression? Well, strike. I'll pass. Well, I'm not passing witness. That's my property, Your Honor.
Thank you. The ruling remains the same.
Do you know anyone else that she made those statements to?
Yes, sir.
Who is that?
My cousin,
What's his name?
Trevion Henderson.
Trevion
Henderson.
Henderson?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what the problem was that Chimene Onyeri had with your uncle Jadeon West?
I'm going to object, Your Honor. Again, it calls for hearsay.
Sustained.
Who is Calvin Green?
My brother.
Judge, I need to ask another question for the proffer. I think you've ruled it's not admissible, but this would be for the purpose of the proffer.
For the appellate court?
Yes,
may I
sir.
ask?
Yes, sir. Did Farrell White say anything to you about her statement regarding hearing Calvin Green and Chimene Onyeri discussing the shooting of the judge?
Yes, sir.
What did she tell you about that?
She told me that she called me when I was at work, and I asked her. She called me in regrets, saying she wished she wouldn't have called on Chimney, and about saying what he did. And then I asked her why did she put my brother in it, and she told me my uncle told her to say he done it. His exact words was, she asked, well, where I'm going to tell him I got it from. And she said, my uncle told her to say, tell him CW, which is Calvin Green, my brother. She said, tell him CW, fuck him.
I'll pass it with the
Does
judge.
that conclude your proffer?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. The ruling is the same. Cross-examination.
Mr. West, do you know anything about Mr. Onyeri's financial circumstances?
No, ma'am.
You know how much money he has in the bank?
No, ma'am.
And you said you've known Mr. Onyeri since you were children, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
And in the time that you've known Mr. Onyeri, has he ever held a job?
No, ma'am.
All right. And so he's certainly not getting any financial resources from working a job like you are right now, correct?
No, ma'am.
All right. And yet Mr. Onyeri always seems to have money, doesn't he?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Onyeri has money to go gambling as frequently as Mr. Onyeri would like, correct?
Ma'am?
Mr. Onyeri always has money to go gambling whenever Mr. Onyeri would like, correct?
I guess so.
Well, you're good friends with him, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Does he invite you to LaBerge Casino to go gamble with him?
Well, I work, so I don't really be around as much because I work a lot.
Okay. Does he invite you to go to LaBerge to gamble?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Are you aware that he goes very frequently to LaBerge to gamble?
No, ma'am.
Okay. You're not a part of that part of his life, correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And you've gone to see Mr. Onyeri several times in the jail, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you've accepted Mr. Onyeri's phone calls, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How many times do you think you talked to him on the phone before today?
Today? Before today?
Yes.
Probably on the count of hand, probably 3 or 4 times.
Okay. How many times have you gone to see him?
I think since he been in there.
How many times
Since he been in there, I'm not sure how many times it was.
More than once?
Yes, it's more than once.
More than twice?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you tell everybody that Chimene was getting out of jail today?
Ma'am?
Did you tell everybody that Chimene was getting out of jail today?
Well, I told him that he was supposed to be getting a bun. That's what I heard.
Okay. You said you talked to Farrell. When was the last time you talked to her?
The time, I guess the incidents, all this stuff appeared. I can't recall the time or what day it was, but I was at work one day when she called me.
Was it a week ago? Was it 2 weeks ago? Was it 3 weeks ago? Was it how long ago?
I can't recall when was it.
Okay, you recall the details of the conversation, but when was it?
I'm not sure, ma'am.
Okay. Have you talked to your uncle?
No, sir. No, ma'am.
Well, sir, isn't it true that you were trying to convince somebody to give you Farrell White's phone number?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in fact, you didn't have it, did you?
No, ma'am.
I'll pass the witness.
Thank you. Redirect.
As far as gambling's involved, do you have any idea how much money Chimene gambles with?
No, sir.
It could be $100, it could be $100,000. You have no idea.
I wouldn't know.
Pass it with you.
Any recross?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. May this witness be excused if he wishes to leave.
Please, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You're released as
All right,
witness.
yep.
Mr. Hendricks.
Thank you.
No one has responded.
We'll rest her.
Thank you. Does the state wish to offer any evidence?
It does, Your Honor. The state will offer the following evidence. Items have been tendered, exact copies have been tendered to defense counsel. States Exhibits 1, 2, and 3. States Exhibit 1 is an amended motion to proceed with an adjudication of guilt out of Travis County, Texas, for a motion to adjudicate where the defendant's bond has been set at $100,000. States Exhibits 2 and 3 are brand new unsealed indictments from the state of Louisiana where the defendant has been charged along with two co-defendants. He has currently been charged with racketeering. It's a statute in Louisiana where the defendant faces up to 50 years in the Louisiana Department of Corrections, and he's currently held on a felony warrant out of Louisiana, Calcasieu Parish, at no bond. And that carries a penalty of up to 50 years in the Louisiana Department of Corrections. The state will offer all these into evidence, and I tendered the exact copy to defense counsel for examination.
To which I, Your Honor, they're hearsay and improper predicate for proof of these matters, and so I object.
Any certified documents?
They are, Your Honor.
Let me look at them just a minute. Objections to stage 1 is that's it.
Which one is that number? Is that the agreed
That's the
motion?
amended motion
Okay.
to proceed on the adjudication of guilt as the Travis County
All
matter.
right, thank you.
Can you show me the certification on stage 2?
Judge, I think there's a small set macros that
Yes, sir.
these documents were emailed together. There may be a small seal on states exhibit number 3 on the front. May I take a look, Judge? I'll point it out to you.
Yes, I haven't looked it through yet.
It's okay, Judge. I'll make it quicker for Your Honor. It may have been on the back of the original. That's okay. Judge, those copies may not have the seal in the back, but that's okay. I will ask that the court take judicial notice Jim's, of the information in Jim's, per the district court, and under this specific defendant's cause number for the murder in this case, I'll ask the court to take judicial notice of the fact that there is a hold out of Louisiana, Calcasieu Parish.
Is that true, Mr. O'Donnell?
Judge, to my knowledge, he posted bond out of Louisiana. He posted two $7,500 bonds with International Fidelity Insurance Company.
How large were those ones?
They were $7,500 each. At the time he was arrested on those charges, he posted those bonds.
And how many bonds were there?
There were two. Yes.
But you can confirm in Jim's that he's currently held a 0 bond out of Louisiana on a new racketeering charge.
Okay. Oh, something other than what he made bond on already?
Correct, Judge. That's the new indictment that's before your honor.
The court can hear it.
I can't hear her, Judge, so.
Judge, I would object to taking, to the state's request that you take judicial notice of what's in some computer bank called Jim's. I don't think that's an official governmental agency that would apply to the exceptions to the hearsay rules. So I would feel that that would be inappropriate and should not be admitted in evidence, those documents.
Thank you. Thank you. The defense objection to states 2 and states 3 is sustained. I'll simply take notice that there's a hold, since our sheriff's office has to verify that. As to the details of that, I'll consider that hearsay. Thank you. Here are your exhibits.
Yes, sir.
Anything further from the state?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor. At this time, the state of Texas rests.
Thank you. Any rebuttal from the defense?
No, Your
Thank you. Arguments? Do you wish to have the first argument, Mr. O'Donnell?
I'll waive opening and take the rare advantage of closing.
Thank you. Ms. Lee, this is your exhibit. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir.
For the record and the testimony that Your Honor has heard, this defendant is currently charged with the murder while on felony deferred out of the district court. He is the prime and only suspect of the shooting of a Texas district court judge. He is a dangerous person. He has plenty of other income from their own testimony. He's got income that he doesn't want this court or anyone else to know about, and can't explain where he's getting all this money. If his dad has that money, well, that's one thing. But they've managed to make all these bonds. He's busy gambling in Louisiana. With what money? It sure isn't from a car accident. This defendant is dangerous. He is an identity thief. He's a criminal. And he's someone who is a danger should he make bond. He's also got a hold in Louisiana. Your Honor can take judicial notice of that. That should speak volumes about the trouble that this defendant has caused and will cause if he makes bond. We'd ask for a very high bond in Your Honor's discretion.
Your Honor, first of all, I would ask the court to disregard the statement that no proof has been offered for regarding whether or not my client is a suspect and the only suspect in Austin regarding the shooting of Judge Casser. Up until today, all reports have been he was a person of interest. Austin has had 2 months to investigate that case and file charges against Mr. Onyeri if he was in fact the person that committed that crime, or at least that they had evidence to support that belief. And so the broad statement, unsupported by any evidence, that he is the only suspect and a dangerous person because of it, I would ask the court to disregard. Under Article 1715 of the Rules of the Code of Criminal Procedure for the court, what the court needs to consider in assessing a reasonable bond, we've tried to establish that while there is some money in the family, there's not a lot. His father's 72 years old and retired, living on a fixed income. the innuendo of high gambling, large gambling losses, or a lot of money to gamble with is just that. There's no evidence that's been produced that would justify that belief. Yes, he's been to Lake Charles, so have thousands, maybe millions of other Texans. Maybe he gambled, maybe he didn't. There's no real evidence to support any of those accusations. And we've had a lot of smoke in this case that's been passed through the media about what happened in Austin and what's happened here. The bottom line is he doesn't have the money to afford a large bond. He has a history of posting bail and coming to court as required.
Well, what about the failure to give urine samples and the failures to report that are alleged in the motion to adjudicate?
That's the first I've seen of that. I don't know about that, Jim. I know you can control him with an ankle monitor. You'll know where he is at all times. There are steps that you can take in fixing the bail and the bail conditions that will, I would think, ensure his appearance in court. Under 1715, we have offered also, Judge, the fact that through testimony, through evidence, that there's one witness as far as we know. There's been no proof offered by the state as to how strong their case is. And under 1750, that certainly is a consideration for you, the type of case, the strength of the case. We've offered no evidence. The only evidence you've heard is that he didn't do it, and that the informant, who's also in that Louisiana indictment that the state presented to you, Farrell White, has put this case on him to protect her uncle, or working with her uncle in trying to frame Mr. Onyeri in this case. It's the only evidence you heard. We think a reasonable bond would be $20,000 and with reasonable conditions for the court to ensure that he would appear in court.
Thank you very much. The writ of habeas corpus is granted. Bail is set at $1 million. Ms. Allen, I'm going to want paperwork done today that the defendant who makes bond may not leave Harris County. They'll need a monitor with a curfew from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. Naturally, I guess I would hope that he would get a job if he's going to be up on bond, so that's nothing to do with his time. He is not in school at this time. And I'm going to want weekly rates. And if you would word it, a urine sample each week, given randomly. So that he's called in randomly, but every week. Does the state request any no contacts as a condition?
Yes, Your Honor, the state has several people I can write it out, Judge, or this is on the record, Farrell White.
All right.
Calvin Green.
All right, isn't he the witness you just tested?
No, that's Adrian West. We would ask for Adrian West no contact as well.
Okay.
Well,
Not go within 100 yards of the place where those two people live, work, or go to school. Okay, thank you very much. And then I understand you wish to take up discovery.
yes, Your Honor.
I have another hearing scheduled for 1:30, and I need to wrap up some things on the docket so I can hear that matter at 1:15. I have some lawyers coming back over the lunch hour, so y'all might as well eat, and I'll see everybody at 1:15.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Of course, there's a recess on this matter. Yes, thank you.